Yeah, good afternoon. Before I came here, I thought I had 15 minutes, but I just realized I have 10. So I will rush a bit. I'm just thinking maybe I have to revise what I'm going to talk so that we can run through and you have my findings and conclusion. So I'm from New Zealand, and with the first day we're talking about the lean and future research direction, you'll find New Zealand has the least corruption, and we're very open, so it looks very green and everything fine. But actually, we are very laid back of our lean production supply chain management. Actually, this is my key finding, which is very interesting. So what we have done is we did a logistic management looking at the challenges in the construction industry. So I proposed a KPI to measure the logistic performance. So I'll present key findings and conclusions. So why I start to do this project, I was thrown this topic at me, say, hey, look at logistic management in our construction industry. Pick up Auckland, have a look, okay? New Zealand has 4 million people and around 16 million sheep. So we have not much human being there. Auckland is the biggest city in New Zealand, and we have around 1.2 million people living in the city. So you will think there's no issue for construction in Auckland, but because we have lots of problems, because we spread around, and in a downtown city, when you want to have truck moving in, it's a traffic problem. So that is why I was asked to looking at logistic management. So I said, okay, let's have a look of it. So we know what is logistics, and we know what to do with the supply chain management. So construction logistics is a dual purpose to ensure the efficient management of transportation, storage, distribution of people, material, and equipment on site. So that is, and not just looking at the material itself, we have to look at the human being with the skilled labor, we have to looking at plants. So same time, it's provide a support role to the site, which includes responsibility for security, cleaning, safety, welfare, and community relations, emergency, evacuation, first aid. So I thought, okay, I did the literature review, let's dive in, find out how we're doing. And I went to the site. Guess what? We have no data about logistic management. So what does that mean? We don't know when our materials arrive to the site from which company at what quantity at what time. We don't know. I asked project manager, so how do you do that? So the loading bay, we have limited areas, so what do you do? He took me to the common room and he said, look, that's a whiteboard. So what he do is 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, company name, that's it. So this is the logistic management we have on our site. And by the way, I want to show you what is the site looks like. Okay, so I will go back to this one. So this is our case study. This is the site look like. It's a AUTWG building. So we're building a new theatre for students' learning space. And it's in Auckland CBD, so which in the heart of it. The traffic is as bad as you can imagine. And it's a 100 million project, 13-level tower blocks surrounded of existing building, and it's leading contract firm as main contractor. So what is the leading contractor? They basically the top 3 of the country. Okay? But this is their logistical material management. I was a bit shocked, so I'll say, okay, how can I do my research? So I was trying to find out what can we do. So if you want to measure it, or you can improve it, then you can monitor. You have to monitor it. So come out to looking at our literature review. It's always talking about KPI. Use key performance index to looking at how your performance, how to measure it. So okay, I look at literature review, checking out to find what kind of KPI we have for the construction industry in measuring or monitoring logistic performance. So this is what I have. Logistic cost variance, project time efficient, value added, subcontract percentage, number of invoice per day, cost of each activity through the supply chain, and time analysis. So I grabbed a whole lot of the literature review and dive into look into it. And then I get that information and went back to our main contractor and say, hey, can you tell me, do you have anything or any data about this 8 KPI? He said to me, what does that mean? What is project time efficient? All right, I am into a dead wall again. So I basically have back a look of this paper. It's talking about your KPI has to have 2 focus of measure. So which means you not only to measure the company or subcontractor as individual, you have to measure the whole project as well. At the same time, your use of measure is not only monitor what's happening, you have to improve it as well. So bear this in mind. I've thought about it, say, what can we do? How can we measure it? So I'm looking at the vehicle movements. So the truck or the cars or whatever vehicles come to the site, will that give you a KPI or key performance measurement, so we can measure the logistic cost or performance or whatsoever. So this is the vehicle movements, and I find it actually relates to site management, it relates to tangible costs, it relates to your logistics strategy and your logistic performance. So what does that mean? For vehicle movements, it actually has an impact on your site management, your loading bay, your crane management, your hoist management. At the same time, if your logistics strategy, your plan, your order is not accurate or is not full or just in time, then you'll end up with a crowded loading bay with all the trucks waiting there, and your crane can't cope with all the trucks moving in. So it also has to influence your logistic performance, because when your truck arrives with the material and your cranes are not, or hoists not ready to transport them, what happens? The people who are working at that level 2 or level 3, they all walk down, 12, 13 of them, unload the duct material from the truck and move the hoist. Half an hour wasted for these people easily. So this relates to productivity as well, and also tangible cost, which is the transportation cost, logistic cost, so which is material handling, storage, all include that. So I thought maybe we should use vehicle movement, but how to do it? Why have to do it? So I look a bit further. So we find in the literature shows me we have supply logistics and site logistics. So supply logistics is everything before we come to the site. So we have the supply, procurement, factory, material flow, information flow with all different subcontractors, material supplier. And then the moment you move into the construction site, it becomes site logistics. So you're looking at the crane, storage, waste management, the hoist, and loading. And actually, when vehicle arrive there, delivery on site, it is the interface of it. It is the interface of all the supply logistics and with the site logistics. So if we close monitor that, we might have something interesting to find. So I talked to the construction manager, say, can you please do me a favor? He's like, what is that? You have a gate person, right? I don't know, in other countries, you have a gate person on site. We have a gate person. This person basically looking after the gate, so vehicle moving out, direct traffic to which way and that way. Clean the site so the truck will not leave the construction site with mud. That is, he has basically a very fundamental or basic function to do. So I said, how about asking him to write down which vehicle come in what time, from which subcontractor, and what time they leave. So he said, okay, no problem. So that person did that, wrote down everything for me. At the same time, I did an interview with all the first-tier subcontractor, first-tier contractor and material supplier. So we find we have just in case and just in time delivery and just in case delivery. Okay, so you will find some supply for the subcontractor. We have delivery ad hoc with just in cases almost 30%. For material supplier is 11%. So in total, 41% of material delivered to the site is just in case, not it's just in time. So deliver there, here we go. When you're going to use it, we don't know. So for other interview, we have a lot of information coming from, and the major issue, the main finding I want to show you here is about our truck movement. So you can see they come along with the city traffic. When the city is crowded, they come around as well. Reason why? Because this is the time they dispatch from their port, say, hey, deliver to the site this material, off they went. So we find lots of interesting things. I'll just give a quick summarize it. So 6,300 movements in the 15 months. 56 of them is from 8 to 10 or 12 to 2. So 68% of a delivery is before the midday. So which means the crane had to do lots of work at that time. After midday, they have not much to do. So we also find 80% of the material delivery, while 90% is the waste removement. So these findings maybe look quite simple to you guys. It's just collecting the data of what you have finding, the vehicle movement. So we pull out one, just 2 more minutes. So we find out for a just-in-time deliver, like a ready mixed concrete supplier, the vehicle cost, transportation cost is around $72,000, and it's around 7% of the product selling cost. So from my point of view, it is a very significant cost. And I went back to the main contract and said, hey, look, this is what your cost. I can actually measure and tell you every contractor's cost, transportation cost, and your total cost. He said, how? I said, because you give me the information, so I know where they come from, so how long they stay, what's the distance of the depot from the site, so I can calculate all things with different vehicle type. So he said to me, I actually find this very interesting. He said this is very useful for them to looking at as a main contractor for several reasons. First is to considering to have a consolidation center. So if all these materials are moved from one area, we might just build a consolidation center there. So for all the subcontractors, just drop off the materials there and deliver to the site. So also they found this interesting is the loading bay planning. So they will know how to do the peak hour delivery, so that they how long and how big the loading bay they need, and whether they need to spread it in a way. So use the cost transportation. It's not just logistics, transportation cost to inform the subcontractor how to reduce the number of movements of vehicle movement, so that they have reduce the waste. So the last one, just give me one more minute, is what we think about the role of the general contractor. So main contractor, they're not performing well, they're not earning lots of profit, but maybe this vehicle movement can give them about to think about where they need to change their role. They become a player or organizer of the whole supply chain management to reduce the total cost of supply chain. They have the function, they have the data, they have the information. They can provide an information platform for all the subcontractors looking at that, and so that we can reduce the total cost of the supply chain. Thank you. Sorry, I rushed a bit. Any questions? Oh, okay.
I'm Ming from University of Alberta. So I just got one single question. Is your data collection process automated or not?
It's not automated. As I said, it was recorded by gate person, so it was by hand.
Exactly.
Yeah, and interestingly is after with that, I said I team up with our computer science people and said, can you do something we can do together, computerize it or automate it? So we're looking at using iPad for them just to aim the information. And we gave to the gate person, and he's like, I prefer write down. I don't want to use iPad. All right, so this is a problem because if he wrote down everything, we have to collect the sheets weekly and put in Excel sheet, and then analyze. Everything is lagged behind data. We want real time. So okay, we say okay, come to iPad. Let's the next phase, whatever we can think about, totally automatic. So we are at this moment is using that regional number recognition. So put on the side for the entrance and exit, so we can record automatically. At this moment is in the process, but haven't get practiced yet.
And all data is only related to one type of material, right?
Sorry?
All data relate only to one type of material.
No, it's about the whole site.
Whole site.
The whole construction site, whatever trucks come in, we record it. Because we know who is the subcontractor. Regional number will tell you what is the type of the truck, therefore you know operation costs, and you know distance from where depot to the site.
So have you tried to separate those data to different types of materials?
We did for the concrete, ready to mix concrete, because it's easier to find out it's only 2 suppliers in that company. So the finding actually is about the total cost of it. So, where is it? Somewhere I put it here. Oh, here's it. Am I too fast? Here we go. So we'll put out one of the ready mixed concrete company, so that we can see what is the total cost, transportation only, and what's the percentage of that transportation cost over the product selling cost. So we can do same to other company, other material as well. Thank you.
I have 2 comments. The first one is this relationship between the performance
that
Is
is,
that an issue for
it
you?
is issue definitely, but it's a chicken egg, right? So if we don't do things properly, we don't plan properly, then we can't have the material just in time. And the same, but can we do just in time so that we can make all the subcontract plan properly? So that is the question we have. So we're talking to the main contract, say, how about you start to charge them like every vehicle delivery come in, you charge them 10 or certain amount of money, we don't have that. But then the subcontract can start to think, why do I have to deliver so many times? Is there something wrong in my planning? Because at this moment, if you talk to the material supplier or subcontractor, they I don't care because every cost when you're buying the material, it's already include the transportation. So they don't think about what's actually transportation is a huge amount or percentage of it. So it's very hard. And the one thing I want to say, maybe you all agree with me, is the construction industry need common sense. The main contract sometimes or subcontract doesn't have the common sense. Lots of things. Why you have to all deliver in the morning? Why you can't do it in the afternoon? Why not just talk and plan so the crane will not be crowded and congested at time?
Actually, my second point is about logistics efficiency. So what common sense says is that you need to organize your deliveries so you can be very efficient in transporting materials and so on. But sometimes you do that, and then you work in large batches, you deliver large batches of materials, or you don't deliver the materials in the sequence you need in the construction site. So I think there is a risk if you emphasize the efficiency of logistics.
Mm.
You might have problems in the overall efficiency because you're not emphasizing reliability of logistics.
Yes, agree.
Sometimes it's better to deliver in small batches
Yeah.
and in the right sequence. And to get the right sequence, you need confirmation points.
Mm. And for that particular site, because they have a quite big area to store the material, the story becomes
That's bad.
exactly. So the cranes, like people were jumping around. I asked him, "What are you doing now?" And he said, "I'm looking for the rebar that needs to be craned to level 2, and I can't find it." So this is the material shouldn't be stacked there. And also, like today I saw some presentation talking about you have to track real time, track the material. We need that because it's just sometimes you just find on the site it's no common sense. Come on, put the things in a certain way so you can find it, or don't deliver it until you need it. We all should know that, but it's not happening. So I fully understand what you want to tell me. You know, we can look further, but same, I just want to, whether can we have a simple start point for our construction company to realize they can do little things, but change it, but save their cost, more profit.
Always a friend from all the users. I think this is a really good starting point for a PhD, and it's a critical problem in construction. So in Finland we have a shipbuilding industry where they're building cruise ships, and they were able to decrease cycle times to 25% over 10 years from the original. So earlier it took 2 years to build the hull, now they can build 2 hulls in 1 year. And the key for them was to separate logistics
Hmm.
from doing the work.
Hmm.
So they took out all the logistics out from subcontractors. They started to manage logistics directly as we were proposing.
Yeah.
And that ensured that nobody would work out of sequence. So they had to implement a kind of push system in the beginning by pushing the materials, and then nobody was able to work anywhere else than where they had materials available. And then they were able to change that to wool.
Yeah.
So the contractors were themselves able to wool. But it was quite interesting, and they got really good results.
Thank you very
Starting
much.
there.
And I'm very glad, you agree that's a good research, because when I'm trying to publish a paper and the comments I have from the reviewers, you just counted the vehicle numbers. Actually, it's not. It's more than that, because we really need to, especially for New Zealand, we have a special situation. Is our construction industry sometimes is 1 more band, 3 more band. So we have a small to medium enterprise. So what does that mean to just they have lower technique or IT entry level? So we have to provide something really simple for them, easy to understand. They can immediately and to understand what does that mean to their profit so that it can be implemented. Otherwise, we have the KPI, the 8 limits, like the subcontract percentage. For them, that doesn't mean anything. All right, thank you. I'm done.
Any more questions? Thank you for your
Thank you.